All right, good afternoon, everyone. Wanted to do a video here before the weekly close for XRP and the rest of the crypto market. I'm not on my studio mic, so it might be a little bit of a lower audio quality, but hopefully everything's coming through and you can hear what I'm sharing here. What I'm looking at on XRP is it looks like XRP still has a final low to put in either around 265 or 257. So those are the two areas I'm watching. We could even go as low on leveraged exchanges as low as 250. As you come out here to the weekly, it just really is looking rather unfortunate. Last week when we closed, we had a pretty good wick to the bottom side where we had, quite a bit of buy pressure step in to push that price up. But since then, we've kind of rolled over like a flat lead balloon. And it looks like what we're doing is following Bitcoin. We come over here and take a look at Bitcoin. It looks like Bitcoin is also going to ultimately probably come down to that 95, 96K area on the weekly. Would be great for us to hold here, but it looks like we're playing with this line around 108, 500, 108,500. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at here. The XRP BTC pair is also not looking great. Looks like we could come down on that. So yeah, I think XRP still has a final lower leg here to put in. And again, I think this wasn't a wave three, this was a wave one. This is wave two. And then we have a larger third and a larger fifth to come. So if that's the case, and our wave two comes down to around that 253 to 257 area, then our wave three is going to most likely be in that $6.50 range, and then a final fifth wave up to that $12 area. Um, Obviously, we'll know that as we go. If wave three only comes up to that $5 area, then our final leg higher will only be in that $9.50 area. So we're just gonna have to wait to see what the data gives to us. But I really don't think this was a, a wave three, just because if we do end up coming down to that 257 area, it's going to overlap that initial wave one count that a lot of people have. But I think this was more of a corrective move. This wasn't impulsive. This was your first impulse. This is your wave two correction. Then we have a three, four, and then a fifth. And, that'll probably take us into the middle of October, early November, and that'll be the top of this market, at least for the time being. So, yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Of course, we have a big close today with the monthly candle. So, what it looks like they want to do, whoever they is, the market makers, the whales, they're going to drop this monthly on the open, and then that's going to create the liquidity needed to then pop this thing all the way, in the month of September up to that $5 or $6 area. And then hopefully into October, November, we'll get up to that $9 to $12 range. But this is really starting to look like, just based on the data that I'm seeing, that's where the top of your market's going to be in that 9.5 to $12 range. So, let's see what happens. Let's see if we get follow through here and that this ends up being a wave two that holds, internally to support, and then we get that third wave starting. It seems like that'll be the case just because Bitcoin dominance has obviously started to take its fall. And I have Bitcoin dominance coming either down to that 48% area right here, or even down as low as 41%, 42%. So, I think we're about to see a very good altcoin rally, altcoin bull market, but we just have to weather these final storms here as we close out this monthly, as we close out the weekly as well. As you come back over here to XRP, you look at the weekly, you look at actually the 2 week candle. Let me find that, the 2 week chart. So yeah, nothing to really worry about here. RSI is looking decent. We're still above kind of that midline point there around 55 on the RSI. So we have our 2-week close tonight. We have our weekly close tonight. We have our 3-day close tonight. Let's see how that's looking. We have a lot of closes here. They're all occurring at the same time here tonight at what is that? 8 Eastern time. So yeah, I still think we have a drop here either to that 265 area or an overshoot to 257 to 250. So that's what we're looking at. Once we get that bottom in, I do expect us to see a new wave three that's going to take us into price discovery mode. So those are my thoughts here as we close out this weekly candle, as we close out the big monthly candle as well. So watching these things very closely here as we go into the first few days of September. I would say sometime here in this first week of September, we're going to start seeing some major moves in the altcoin market. So fingers crossed, let's see what happens, and we'll talk soon. Thanks, guys.